Now, bass players, this lesson covers cycling and raking. But no, I'm not talking about riding a bike or keeping the lawn clean. We are, however, going to learn to cycle through our fingers and rake a finger from one string to the next. Let's check it out. The idea behind finger cycling is that you, for the most part, aren't using one finger to play consecutive notes over and over. You want to be cycling through your fingers, giving each about the same amount of use rather than favoring or overusing any one of them. If you are choosing to play with two fingers, then this is pretty simple. Play a note with one of your fingers and then play the next note with the other finger. You just keep trading off fingers over and over. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. If you make the heroic choice to play with three fingers on your right hand, cycling through your fingers is obviously presenting more options. You can go back and forth, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, which obviously puts more use on your second finger, or you can just cycle through straight, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. My personal preference is actually to lead with the third finger and cycle backwards from there. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Keep in mind that cycling through your fingers is not an exact science, especially when it comes to using three fingers. And it's certainly not important enough for you to really spend a lot of energy keeping track of. I almost never pay any attention to which fingers I'm using on the right hand. I've trained myself to use them more or less evenly, and that's good enough. Using specific fingers in the left hand is much more important. But with the right hand, you just want to make sure that everyone is contributing. It's very natural to have some fingers stronger than others. Typically, the lower numbered the finger, the stronger it is. We're going to see this as we move to fingering on the left hand. But even on the right hand, that index finger will be the strongest one. The second finger at the middle is maybe not quite as strong, and the third, if you're using it, may tend to be weaker than the first two. But of course, what we're going for is a nice, even attack across the board. So when you cycle through your fingers, keep in mind that you want to have each one sounding identical. The audience and the band shouldn't know which finger you're using. You want all of your fingers to be able to deliver the same even attack all the time. You shouldn't have to be thinking about it very much. One very common exception to cycling evenly through your fingers is raking. Just like we can drag a rake across a lawn to collect the leaves, we can drag a finger across the string to collect the notes. This happens only when you have played a string and then play the next adjacent string, moving from high to low. Very specific circumstances, but it happens quite a bit. Remember, that means playing from a thinner string to a neighboring adjacent thicker string. So if I play the G with the first finger, for example, that finger lands on my D because I have awesome technique, of course. Well, if the string I want to play is the D string, it would be pretty silly for me to pull off my first finger in order to play that D with my second finger. My first finger is already there. Remember, one of our three tenets of technique is efficiency. And it's much more efficient to just play the string with the finger that's already touching it. Duh. This is called raking. And if I had a situation where I was playing all of my strings from high to low, I would simply rake one single finger, one at a time, over all of them. Of course, it couldn't just be that simple. If I rake all of the strings, not paying any attention to my left hand, then I get this sound. And pretty much nobody wants to hear that. This is happening because these strings need to be muted. We'll talk more about this in future lessons, but for now, just take the left hand and gently mute the string by lightly touching it with the fingers to release that note or stop it from ringing. I have the note ringing, I lightly touch it, and it stops ringing. If I'm going to do that all the way down, I can just gently slide my left hand from one string to the next, playing my G, muting it, playing my D, muting it, playing my A, muting it, and playing my E. Good to go. But very often, we'll need to stop a note with the right hand as well. The basic technique for muting on the right hand is pretty much the same that it is on the left hand. You just take your fingers, lots of fingers, not just one, and you gently place them on the string. So if I have my string ringing out and I want it to stop, I just gently touch the string. Simple as that. Those are your concepts for solid bass technique in the right hand. In the next module, I'll give you some exercises to help you build and solidify these techniques, as well as some guidelines for how to think about them when you practice.